This is the wrestling program. My name is Kyle, and we are going to be reviewing AEW Dynamite from November 15th, 2023. And this was not my kind of show at all. If you're an AEW diehard fan that likes Orange Cassidy, that likes Young Bucks, that likes the carnage of spot fests and the carnage and chaos and ridiculousness of the 4 versus 4 match, this was your kind of show. This wasn't mine. I watch AEW for the most part for specific wrestlers, and all my favorites weren't here. Christian, Danielson, Claudio, Edge, and Sting. Those are the main 5 guys of why I watch this show. And boy, I'm kind of glad they weren't part of it, because this was a train wreck. My favorite part were the squash matches. Okay, let's get on with this. Started off with the show with Jon Moxley and Wheeler Yuta versus Hook and Orange Cassidy. And I will say there was one excellent thing that happened in this match. Normally, this would be the worst match by far. But, I mean, they had that 4 versus 4 match later on tonight which was just absolutely atrocious. So, we have Hook and Orange Cassidy, who are the least intimidating team, I think, in existence. I think that a jobbing tag team would be more intimidating than this. The Dark Order is more intimidating than Hook and Orange Cassidy. They weigh about the equivalent of one adult male. Moxley looked like, a grown adult fighting with children here, because Wheeler Yuta is not intimidating either. I don't understand. Anyway, the best part about this match that I really enjoyed, and I'm hoping that they kind of go in this direction at the pay-per-view for Full Gear, was Orange Cassidy did his finisher, which is the orange punch. I don't even know what it's called, but where he goes over and gives a punch. He hit it on Moxley, and Moxley no-sold it. That's how you should be selling Orange Cassidy's offense. That's exactly how every match should be booked. When Orange Cassidy is fighting Wheeler Yuta, I'm okay with Wheeler Yuta selling for him. If he was fighting Hook, I'm okay with that, because they're about the same size. They're about, to me, the same status that they should be. They're kind of joke characters. And they can sell for each other. That makes sense. But when you've got Jon Moxley, the only multiple-time champion in AEW, world champion, because there's AEW world champion, because everybody has a title in AEW, you don't have him selling for your second-rate clown characters. So that I really enjoyed. The match itself was nothing special, obviously. I really disliked it. I don't care for most of these people. And Moxley, I don't even care for that much, but my goodness, is he a breath of fresh air when you're looking at these guys. So then we had the Swerve Strickland and Adam Page promo. I like Swerve. I think that he might be a little bit overrated. I don't like that he's with Prince Nana, because I think that they're actually trying to push him, which they should, because I think that out of all the people that's not somebody that they've picked up from before, that is more homegrown AEW. I know that he wrestled elsewhere before, but I would say that he feels a little bit more like an AEW homegrown talent. So I'm okay with them pushing him, but Prince Nana just dancing just kind of ruins that. Comedy characters stick with comedy characters that are low card, mid card at the highest. And I think that they're really trying to push Swerve into the upper card. Not necessarily main event just yet, but down the road I could see that totally happening. So the promo was more so about Page, and he did, I mean, he was very passionate, but it didn't really do anything for me. It was okay. I won't say it was terrible. It was kind of mid-road from these two. I did like, I think that Adam Page said that, they couldn't lay a finger on each other, but that he's allowed to basically hit Prince Nana, so he just beats the crap out of him. Okay. The one thing I didn't like was after all the security guards came out, he starts hitting them, and then he goes for a buckshot lariat on one of them. Why? I can understand doing your finisher to specific security guards to kind of get them off of you, but he was already done fighting them. Why do a massive finisher where you have to do this big? That would be like Macho Man doing it would work for Macho Man when he was a heel, but Page isn't. Well, I mean, I think he's a tweener at this point in time, considering the way that he's acting lately. I don't really know. It's so hard to kind of tell with AEW. They don't really have strict faces and heels a lot of the time. And here's the thing. I'm harping very hard on AEW right now. But the thing is that I want AEW to succeed. WWE needs another promotion out there to compete against them. Whether it's them or TNA, but like 10 years ago, you need somebody else out there to make WWE try to produce the best that they can, while also trying to give their main event talents and even the bottom guys money and good contracts and good feuds and reasons to stay with them, because they can go leave and make just as much money somewhere else, sometimes even more, in AEW. So in that aspect, AEW needs to succeed, and I want good booking. I want Adam Page to be seen as an upper card guy that can cut a decent promo that makes sense when he's for his actions. Him doing a buckshot lariat on a security guard, to me, doesn't really do anything. Him attacking Prince Nana, while it is a little bit heelish, it's just that he's so pissed off with everything that's been going on during this feud. Okay, that one makes a little bit more sense. That's something that you kind of want to see as well, is the managers get their comeuppance. So on this hand, I kind of like it. And I think that what this means, though, is that because that he beat up Prince Nana, Swerve will win at Full Gear. That's my prediction. So then we had Roderick Strong, Adam Cole backstage promo. Didn't really care for this. We had the Sky Blue versus Red Velvet match. This was a train wreck. This was the tag match with Orange Cassidy and Hook was actually better than this match. There were so many botches. It looked horrible. The finish that Sky Blue had, it never looks. It doesn't look good when she nails that. Oh, this was just not my cup of tea at all. They have some women that can kind of wrestle. They're not, I mean, they're trying, but WWE by far has the better roster. TNA actually has a good women's roster as well. I haven't seen Shimmer in so long, so I have no idea what they're doing, but oof, that was a tough match to watch. Then we had the Miro video. It was okay. We had the Toni Storm backstage segment. I'm still unsure of how much I enjoy. Like, I like that she's doing something different, and I think that a lot of fans are reacting well to it. It's definitely over the top. That's the point as well. I'm very conflicted with this, because normally I don't like this kind of stuff being presented as the main attraction, like the main event. But it's kind of working at the same time. So I don't know. It's unique. It's different. She definitely stands out from the rest of the women. So that in that aspect, I do like it. Then we had Samoa Joe versus some jobber, John Cruz. It was so quick. The best part of this as well was the jobber going onto the top rope, going for Joe, and Joe does the nope, walks away, and the jobber kind of went like, "What are you doing?" kind of thing. And I kind of, for what this was, I liked that. Then we had a Bryan Danielson backstage segment with Tony Khan. This was I think this was the recap of what they did for the announcement that they had previously. The other thing too is that I think that I get that Tony Khan wants to be part of the show, but he doesn't have the voice to be making big announcements. And I'm actually excited for this Continental Tournament. I will admit that this is something that I am looking forward to. You've got a tournament, round robin style, that we could produce some really good matches here. And AEW already just matches people up for no apparent reason, with no feuds, with no reason to actually care for a lot of the matches. Whereas if you've got a round robin tournament, it makes sense. You can get away with just having really good matchups and producing good matches. So this I am looking forward to. I just don't think that Tony Khan should be the one announcing this. Then we had the Young Bucks versus Penta and Commander match. Probably the best match of the night. Absolutely no selling at all whatsoever. So if you like sprints that just go on with no selling whatsoever, this is your kind of jam. I think you can do this once in a while. I do like sprints here and there. I don't like the Young Bucks at all. I can't stand them. They're little shit-eating grins. I mean, anyway. Best match of the night, outside of maybe the Samoa Joe squash match. Then we had Young Bucks with Kenny backstage segment, kind of building up their feud, because this show is the go home to their Full Gear pay-per-view. And I don't feel like there was a lot of heat brought at all. Like, Adam Page attacking Prince Nana was probably the biggest thing with the promo. I guess to a degree, Orange Cassidy hitting his finisher and Moxley no-selling it was also probably a good part of that. And the backstage segment here with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. But like, here's the thing, is that they're building towards a tag match for the pay-per-view. But then they have this massive 4 versus 4 match with Jericho and Omega teaming up with Big Show and Ibushi against people that have nothing to do with the Young Bucks. It's just strange. It's just very strange. I think that an Omega singles match, and if Omega doesn't want to do a singles match because he feels more comfortable in multi-man matches, you could have had Jericho versus one of the Bucks. Kind of have seeing what one of the Bucks will do to kind of make Jericho lose, and have Omega, is he going to get involved? How much is he going to attack his fellow friends, right? Like that I think could have led to some really interesting things to lead into Full Gear. That by far, right there, that they could have totally done, instead of having the 2 matches separated where they just have a backstage promo afterwards. You could still have the backstage promo, but I really think that you could have built this up way more with 2 singles matches with Omega in Jericho's corner, and seeing how much how much are the Bucks going to screw around with Jericho? How much are they going to screw around with Omega? How much will Omega retaliate against them? Right? That to me is how you sell this pay-per-view for that match. Then we had the Guns in a very quick, once again, quick job match, squash match here, where they just destroyed people, and the crowd was so dead, and they said their little promo, which is too bad, because I'm really enjoying the Guns. I think that they have an incredible future ahead of them, but it's not working. And it's so weird that the AEW audience will cheer people that I think are just absolute clowns, but not the Guns, who can wrestle and can talk on the mic. They're not perfect by any means, but they're still rookies here. I hope that either Tony Khan figures out how to book them properly, or they leave and go to WWE. I really do think that WWE would do a much better job with promoting them, with booking them into specific angles where the crowds will care. Like, put them in a year in NXT, and then put them on the main roster, right? Like, that would do fairly well, I think, if their team, and you don't need a manager because they can actually talk. I really do think that they could be one of the better tag teams of the next 5-10 years if they continue at this pace that they're going. Then we had a Wardlow video. I was so hyped for Wardlow back in the day when he was going up against MJF. And after that, everything has slowed down, and he bores me now. His little, I've been screwed and I hate MJF and blah, blah, blah. It's so incredibly dull and boring. Like, it makes sense on one hand, but he just sounds like a crybaby, and not in a good way. Bret Hart is a perfect crybaby. Owen Hart too. The Harts, for some reason, are excellent at that. But I'm just so incredibly tired. The other thing too is that Bret would sometimes bring it, and Owen too, would bring in a lot of comedy to when they'd be doing their crybaby stuff. So it's entertaining. Wardlow just he's such a big man, and he's crying almost. Anyway, then we had the atrocious Yakuza 4 versus 4 match. Jericho and Big Show were in actual suits, and I get that that's part of Yakuza. But my God, how desperate are you for money that you will agree to these things instead of just doing a backstage promo? Like, some kind of backstage angle would have been so much better than this stupid, godforsaken match that had no rhyme or reason, that just everybody's no-selling and just move. And that's what these chaos matches are sometimes, and sometimes they can be entertaining. I will agree with that. This was not it. This, to me, was horrible. Big Show was limited so much in what he could do. He took this horrible bump that, if he's hurting beforehand from just walking, I will say that Powerhouse Hobbs looked pretty strong in this match, and if that's what their goal was, at least they did accomplish that. Outside of that, The bike part with Ibushi going down with like a lead pipe and whacking somebody in the most safest way, to whack somebody else in another safe way, to get clotheslined and get dropped on his head. He was being so safe to not injure anybody, and lands on his head. Why? That bike scene was just horrible. That bike scene is why I prefer WWE over AEW, because AEW will do this silly stuff. And you've got Jericho and Omega in this. And Takeshita, who I think is doing a really good job at slowly going up here, and Powerhouse Hobbs as well, slowly being brought up. You've got like really solid talent that should not be in these joke kind of matches. If you want a chaos match, I really think that a 4 versus 4 tag match without the silliness would have been better than this stupid chaos match. It was entertaining in the version that it's so bad it's good. Like that, it was a car wreck and not a good one. Like hilarious things would ensue, and it was so, like, you're laughing throughout all of this, and you're like, this is so cringe and bad, and this is why wrestling is where it is right now. How are we supposed to take Jericho, Omega, and all of them seriously now in Ibushi when he was going down on a bike and whacking people with a lead pipe in the softest way possible? I get why he's doing that. He doesn't want to hurt them, but then he gets clotheslined and drops on his head, and it's just, man, he tried so hard to protect them, and then he just gets wrecked. Not worth it. Not worth it. My goodness. And then we had afterwards an MJF and Jay White promo. MJF as a babyface also has lost a lot of steam here. I don't know. I think that MJF can work as a babyface, but they got to give him something to work with that's a little bit better than this. And Jay White actually did an okay promo. I thought that his promo wasn't bad. He's not necessarily a promo guy, but it was okay for what it was. He was saying some of the words over and over a bit too much, considering he probably only had a few things to say. But whatever. It was just, I don't know, one of the worst Dynamites I've ever seen. I think that the reason why we had 2 squash matches is so that we didn't have some silliness that, some of the matches you could say made sense. That's because the squash matches, as quick as they were, they made sense. There was, oh God. I'm sorry if you're an AEW fan and you really enjoy this. This wasn't my thing at all. I want AEW to succeed. There's just so many things that they could do to make this better. Orange Cassidy and Hook, have them against the Dark Order. There you go. Boom. Then it makes sense because Orange Cassidy, he does have his fans. So have him and Hook against a team that makes sense because they are so down low on the totem pole. They are comedy characters, the Dark Order. Have them wrestle. Boom. Then you have Orange Cassidy and Hook for the fans that are there to see them. They're able to watch them. Have Moxley versus somebody else. I don't necessarily know. You just have him versus somebody else. The Samoa Joe squash match was fine. The Young Bucks and Penta and Commander match, whatever. No, that's where you change it up. You have Jericho versus one of the Bucks, Forehead Jackson, and the other Jackson is in his corner. There you go. You have that, and that starts to start already there. You're starting to fix a lot of these things. You have Paige not going crazy and attacking a security guard. You have him attack Prince Nana. That works. There's a few things that were okay here, but just horrible. So anyway, that's it. Let me know in the comments what you liked about this show, what you didn't like about this show. Am I completely off my rocker? I don't think I am, because this was just, to me, a lot of trash. So thank you all for watching. You've been Bearded In. Beardage.